AITA for giving my cheating girlfriend the proposal she wanted before ruining her plans? Hey, I'm Wade, a 37-year-old man living in Texas. Taryn, 32, came into the picture when I was 35. I met her at a barbecue hosted by a friend. The shift happened 2 months before Christmas. She started making comments about rings, and they weren't subtle, man. She'd say things like, "If I don't have a ring on my finger by Christmas, I'm gone." At first, I thought she was joking, but she kept repeating it. She even told my friend's wife at a dinner party, "He'd better propose before the holidays, or he's wasting my time." Then came Tuesday night. I was on the couch, reviewing inventory reports on my tablet. Taryn stood in front of me and said, "We need to talk." She crossed her arms, looking like a warehouse employee who'd just made a costly mistake. "I'm 32, she said. "My friends are married. My parents won't stop asking. If you don't propose at the Christmas Eve party, I'm leaving you." Those were her exact words. She wasn't asking, not showing any emotion, just demanding, like she was placing an Amazon order and the delivery was late. I looked at her and said, "I'm not ready for that." She didn't care. She turned around, slammed the bedroom door, and slept with her back to me all night. The next day, she acted like nothing had happened. I didn't bring it up again. I just shut up and started watching. 2 days later, I got a call from Maris, Taryn's older sister. She's 35, married with 2 kids, and works as a realtor. Straightforward, no drama. That day, she told me she needed to talk. We met at a Whataburger off the highway. She looked furious, her face red but trying to keep her composure. "She's cheating on you," she said. I didn't flinch, just asked, "With who?" "A guy named Corin. He works with her." She explained she'd overheard her on the phone with Lacey, Taryn's best friend, one of those fake women who are always posting filtered selfies with motivational quotes. She was telling her she was sleeping with Corin and planned to let me propose at the Christmas party, only to reject me in front of the whole family. She wanted to make me look desperate. She even said Lacey would be recording the whole thing. I didn't ask Maris for proof, and I didn't ask her to repeat anything. I believed her. I just said, "Okay, thanks." That night, I checked Taryn's phone. No passcode, never had one. I found texts with Corin, nothing clever, just times, hotel names. One read, "Room 112, again." She was sending him selfies from my damn guest bathroom. I took screenshots of everything and emailed them to myself. I checked call logs, emails, calendar appointments, everything. I saved it all to a USB drive and hid it in my toolbox in the garage. The next day, I went to see a lawyer. All those details matter when you're trying to prove misuse of shared funds. He told me if I could prove she was using our money or her work time to cheat, it would help in court. So I did. I went through bank statements, cross-referencing them with hotel charges, gas fill-ups near his area, a dinner at Perry's Steakhouse that clearly wasn't with Lacey. I opened a new bank account and moved half the money from our joint account. It's a clean move in Texas, perfectly legal so long as you're not trying to hide assets from a spouse, and we weren't married. I also sent myself all the proof that Taryn was using company time and resources for her affair. Texts during work hours, meeting rooms booked for trainings she never attended. I went back to Maris. "I need your help," I told her. "Hey, are you in?" She just nodded. "I've been waiting for this." The last thing I did was find Corin's girlfriend. Her name was Sloan. She worked in marketing, the type to make clean girl videos on TikTok. I found her quickly on LinkedIn. I followed her socials and sent her a message from a burner account with the full Google Drive folder. No text, just a subject line. "Your boyfriend and my girlfriend. Enjoy." She opened it an hour later. Taryn never responded. Taryn had no idea what was coming. She spent the next week buying dresses, sending me links to rings, smiling like everything was going according to her plan. She was walking right into a wall, and I was the one building it. Christmas Eve arrived. Like always, loud music and Taryn's family pretending to be the Kardashians of suburban Dallas. Her parents live in one of those neighborhoods where they refinance the house just to remodel the kitchen. Everything custom, real hardwood floors where you're not allowed to wear shoes. There were about 50 people there, and Taryn was glowing like she'd already won. Red dress, high heels, perfect hair, walking around like she owned the zip code. Her friend Lacey showed up early, phone in hand, like she was the press. She kept giving me fake smiles, and every time she made eye contact with Taryn, she gave her a little knowing nod. You know, two snakes sharing a look. Taryn's dad, Vernon, came over to shake my hand. Big night, he said, clueless. Big night, I replied. He had no idea. I stayed calm the whole time. I played the part, helped bring out the food, chatted with her uncle about deer hunting, and even let her mom corner me to talk about wedding venues. Around 8:45, Taryn started getting antsy, pacing. I saw her check her phone 3 times. Both she and Lacey were following me like lost puppies. The two of them whispering, shooting me side glances. At 9, Taryn tapped her glass with a spoon. Quiet down for a moment, everyone, she said. Wade has something he'd like to say. I stepped into the center of the living room. Christmas tree behind me, fireplace roaring, the whole family gathered around. Taryn was on my right. Lacey already had her phone up, recording. I saw Maris across the room near the entrance, calm, collected, waiting. Hey, thanks for having me, everyone, I started. This year has been a lot. A lot of changes, a lot of clarity. And I realized something important. When your life needs a reset, you do it clean. You don't drag it out. Taryn let out a fake gasp, like she was about to cry from emotion. Lacey moved the camera closer. I reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out a small black box. Taryn leaned in a little, ready for her big moment. I opened the box. Inside was a single, new silver key. Maris, I said, looking right at her. I was wondering if you would be my realtor. I'm listing my house next week and looking for a new place. The sound of the heater kicking off filled the room. Dead silence. Taryn said nothing. Her face was frozen mid-smile. Lacey dropped her phone, literally let it slip from her hand in shock. Then I added, Taryn, since you were planning to leave me tonight for a bit of a show, I figured I'd go first. I'm done with you. And you can tell Corin he can stop pretending he's just your coworker. A chorus of gasps swept through the room like something out of a sitcom. Someone's grandma whispered, Oh, dear Lord. Taryn blinked fast, her lips trembling. What the hell are you talking about? I have the texts, the hotel bills, the call logs, all of it. Maris knows, and your friend Lacey here helped you plan the whole thing, didn't you? Lacey's mouth opened, then closed. She turned bright red and looked at the floor. Taryn, don't act surprised, I told her. You planned to humiliate me tonight to play the victim. Instead, I beat you to the punch. Taryn turned to her mother. Are you really going to let him do this to me? Her mom said nothing. Vernon, her dad, took a step forward. Corin, the guy from her office. I nodded. I already told his girlfriend. She dumped him this morning. Taryn lost it. You are a petty, bitter man. You think this makes you strong? It's pathetic. No real man would do this. You're ruining Christmas. No. Taryn, you tried to ruin me. Christmas was just the stage you chose. She lunged at me, grabbed the box, and threw it at the tree. Ornaments fell, a glass ball shattered. Get out of my parents' house, she screamed. I walked straight for the door. I looked at Maris and nodded. She smiled. Lacey fumbled to stop recording, but not before Maris said, loud enough for everyone to hear, You did this to yourself, Taryn. It was cold and quiet outside. I got in my truck, closed the door, and drove to the hotel I'd checked into earlier. I had my go bag in the back seat, the USB with all the evidence in the glove compartment, and the first real moment of peace I'd felt in weeks. Before I even parked, my phone started buzzing nonstop. 10 missed calls from Taryn, then her mom, then Lacey. The texts ranged from, How could you? To You're a sociopath. I didn't answer. I didn't block them, either. I still wanted a record. 30 minutes later, Lacey sent me a screenshot. She'd already posted a vague Facebook status. Some people just want to watch the world burn. Prayers for us. I smiled. They weren't even denying it, just trying to spin it. That night, I sent my lawyer an email with all the files. Subject, it's done. Time to finish this. I thought Taryn would lay low after Christmas Eve. Maybe hide out for a few days, let the embarrassment fade. I gave her too much credit. By noon on Christmas Day, she was already texting me from another number. The first message read, You seriously owe me an apology for last night. That was disgusting. I didn't reply. An hour later, You humiliated me in front of my entire family. You destroyed my reputation. You're going to pay for this. I didn't reply to that either. By 6 p.m., Maris texted me. Lacey is already trying to spin the story. She's saying you faked evidence and ambushed Taryn for no reason. That didn't surprise me. I expected it. I'd already uploaded all the screenshots, calendar events, and receipts to a cloud folder, timestamped, everything cross-referenced with dates. I built it like a court case, even though it wasn't one. 2 days later, things escalated. I got an email from a law office. Not even a real firm, just one of those cheap outfits that writes letters for people too broke or proud to accept what happened. The subject, cease and desist, defamation, and emotional distress. The body of the letter accused me of deliberately planning a public ambush with the intent to cause maximum psychological harm. It claimed Taryn had suffered severe emotional trauma and that I had defamed her character in front of colleagues and family. The best part, they demanded $25,000 for reputational damages and reimbursement for her therapy costs. I laughed and forwarded it all to my lawyer. He called me 10 minutes later. Yeah, we've seen this before. It's a bluff, has no legal standing, but I'll write a response that will shut them down for good. And he did. The response was brutal. My lawyer detailed that Taryn had zero legal claim to my house, my car, or my finances. 1. We were never married, never engaged, no contracts or joint ownership. 2. Her tenancy in my home was revocable at any time under Texas law. 3. Her alleged trauma was self-inflicted, and I had hard proof of her plan and her affair. If she pursued this, we would file a restraining order for harassment and countersue for legal fees. The firm was CC'd, and a full evidence package was attached. Texts, call logs, hotel receipts, all dated. We also sent a formal notice. She had 14 days to collect her belongings under supervision. After that, everything would be considered abandoned property. The next day, her mother called me. I didn't pick up. She left a voicemail, sounding angry but trying to fake composure. Wade, this has gone too far. I understand you and Taryn are having difficulties, but to humiliate her and threaten her with lawyers, that's not the man I thought you were. You need to take responsibility and fix this before it gets worse. I didn't reply. I owed her nothing. Later that day, I was tagged in a vague Facebook post from Lacey. When narcissists get exposed, they play the victim. Keep your head up, Queen. The post got 47 likes, mostly from her fake influencer-type friends and a couple of Taryn's cousins who never liked me anyway. One of them even sent me a direct message. You could have just ended it like a man. What you did was cruel. Maris commented on Lacey's post with a single sentence. Try telling the whole story, Lacey. Start with the hotel receipts. The post vanished 20 minutes later. Meanwhile, I focused on the practical. I walked through the house and took pictures of everything she'd left. Labeled boxes, shoes, clothes, makeup, random junk on her side of the bathroom. I sent it all to Maris, and she agreed to be the neutral party for the pickup. We set a date, January 4th, 2 in the afternoon. She would have 1 hour. I would be present but out of sight. January 4th came. A U-Haul pulled into my driveway, with Taryn, her mom, and Lacey inside. Yes, Lacey came. They rang the doorbell. I opened it, stepped aside without a word, and gestured to the living room. The boxes were stacked neatly. Anything of value had already been removed. Her mom gave me a haughty look, expecting a fight. Lacey looked around and muttered, "Wow, so spiteful." I said nothing, just recorded the whole thing on my phone. They loaded their stuff while whispering and giving me side glances like teenagers. As her mom was finishing, she finally blew up. "You're a coward, Wade. She gave you everything, and you threw it away." I looked at her and replied, "Your daughter slept with a coworker and tried to set me up. That's all she gave me, period." Silence. They left without another word. A week later, I got a message request on Instagram from Sloan, Corin's now ex. "Hey, I got your files. Thank you. We were together for 3 years. He told me you were harassing Taryn. Now I know the truth." She told me Corin tried to deny everything, claimed it was just flirting and there was no real proof. But when she showed him the hotel confirmation and the screenshots with Taryn's name, he went silent. She kicked him out of their apartment that night. He tried texting her for 3 straight days, then blocked her after she posted a picture of his stuff packed up in his Audi. By the second week of January, Taryn's narrative had crumbled. Her own aunt sent me a message apologizing. She said she didn't know what really happened until Maris sat her down and showed her the timeline. Taryn had lost control of the story. No one believed her. He ambushed me for no reason lie anymore. Lacey tried to prop up the drama, posting cryptic stories about being attacked, but most people saw through it. They forgot one detail: there were witnesses. 50 people were at that party. And when the video leaked, the one where Taryn's face just falls apart the second I turned to Maris, there was no hiding it. January came in cold, and I stayed busy. I wasn't wasting time on social media or their drama. I was working with Maris to list my house. She knew the market, didn't waste time on nonsense. We walked the property, room by room, planning every showing with precision. Keep the furniture minimal, she told me. Make it look like you've already moved on. I have, I replied. She smiled. The house went on the market the following Monday. For offers in the first week, all above asking. Maris handled everything with surgical precision. She coordinated inspections, reviewed paperwork, and even dealt with a buyer who tried to lowball. She didn't even call me to ask, just said, I told him no. I like that. Meanwhile, Taryn began her social media reinvention. Suddenly, she was a resilient woman. She posted selfies in gym clothes with captions like, "Healing isn't linear. Sometimes, destruction is the first step toward reinvention." Lacey cheered her on in every comment, acting like this was a breakup and not a tactical failure on their part. They thought the internet would believe them. They forgot everyone had seen what really happened. The video spread fast. Someone at the party, probably her cousin Sam, shared it. First in family group chats, then on Reddit. It wasn't edited, just a clean clip of me proposing to Maris as my realtor, Taryn's face frozen in a broken smile, and the room in total silence. Taryn tried to report the video. She told people it was inappropriate, which made no sense. Then she claimed I'd used her image to get famous. She even sent Maris a message, telling her to get a lawyer if she wanted to keep her license. Maris screenshotted it and sent it to me with the message, "She's grasping at straws." She wasn't wrong. 2 weeks before closing on the house, I got a call from Taryn's new representative. Not a lawyer, just a friend of Lacey's who knew about contracts. She introduced herself like she was calling to offer a Netflix deal. Taryn feels this whole thing has damaged her mental health. She believes you owe her something for the emotional labor she put into the relationship. Tell her to send me the receipt. I replied and hung up. That same day, Taryn posted a long message on her stories. I spent 2 years building him up, supporting him, giving him everything, only for him to weaponize my mistakes and humiliate me for clout. Women deserve better. Then she tagged Lacey. Lacey shared it with the caption, "Men are trash." That post got maybe 10 likes. One from some guy who sells fake watches out of his car, another from her nail tech. No one else commented. When the house sale closed, I had already moved into my new place, a condo downtown, walking distance from work. Modern kitchen, no shared walls. I bought it in cash with the profit from the house. No mortgage, no payments, just keys in hand and peace within my walls. I left the old house spotless, no drama, no furniture to remind her of anything. I took the grill, the tools, the good cookware, and the safe. Everything else, boxed, donated, or tossed. Maris did the final walkthrough herself. She sent me a picture from the closing with a message. "Check your account. Deposit complete. You're free." I replied, "Send me your invoice." She sent a modest one, too modest. I doubled it and sent it back. She protested. I made the transfer anyway. "You didn't just sell my house," I told her. "You had my back when everyone else wanted to tear it down." A week after the closing, Taryn showed up at my new building. Security called to say a woman was downstairs, screaming my name and refusing to leave. I told them to call the police. Before I hung up, they were already escorting her out. 15 minutes later, she posted a crying selfie in her car, captioned, "You give some people everything and they replace you like furniture." She also tried to comment on an old post of mine, something about how I used her to better my life. My account was private. Nobody saw it but me. I reported her, blocked her, and moved on. Maris told me Taryn started bouncing from job to job. What little career she had left fell apart when HR found out she'd been sleeping with Corin on company time. She was quietly fired. Corin was fired too. The company didn't want an official report. They just cut ties and erased the mess. Typical corporate cover-up, no loose ends. In February, Corin's ex-girlfriend, Sloane, texted me again. It was short and to the point. Taryn tried to get back with him. Told him to rot. Good. Taryn's final move came in mid-March. She filed a small claims court case. It said I owed her $3,200 for moving expenses, gifts invested in the relationship, and loss of income due to defamation. My lawyer handled it in 2 emails. Moving expenses. She left voluntarily and hired the movers herself. Gifts. Texas doesn't reimburse Christmas or birthday presents. Loss of income. We had no contract or non-disclosure agreement, and the damages came from her own behavior, not mine. Case dismissed in 5 business days. She tried one more thing. She wrote to Maris, asking for a chance to explain everything. Maris didn't reply, just sent me the screenshot. By April, the dust had settled. Nobody was talking about it. The only ones still stewing were the ones who'd been exposed and didn't know how to deal with the silence. Me, I just kept to my routine. Wake up at 6, hit the gym, work, and come home to a clean place with no fake tension, no passive-aggressive comments, no one stealing my Wi-Fi to text their lover. Taryn lasted nearly 4 months before she came crawling back. After all the threats, the lawyer's letter, the public meltdown, and the Instagram victim act, she finally ran out of ways to spin the story. It started with a knock at my condo door. I didn't answer. I watched her on the security camera from my phone as she just stood there, wearing yoga pants, clutching her purse like it could shield her from the past. She looked tired, made up, but broken. The kind of desperate clean where you know she spent an hour trying to look effortless. I let her stand there for 7 minutes before security asked her to leave. 2 hours later, the first text came. I just want to talk. I'm confused. You were always so cold. Maybe I messed up, but it's not fair you won't give me closure. The next day, from another number. You act like I'm a criminal. We had 2 years. Don't I deserve a conversation? Blocked. Then she tried Maris. She texted her from a fake Instagram account, saying she didn't want me back, just wanted to clear the air. Maris screenshotted it and sent it to me without a word. I didn't reply. Taryn went dark for a week. Then she posted a picture of a handwritten letter addressed to someone who used to matter. The caption read, "Some truths are too heavy to carry alone." Comments were turned off. Nobody cared. 2 weeks later, I got a voicemail from an unknown number. It was her mom. She said Taryn had been in and out of therapy, rebuilding herself, and she hoped we could meet for coffee to talk. No expectations. She added that Taryn never stopped caring about me and that I should be mature enough to talk instead of hiding behind silence. She ended the message by saying, "You might have the money in the condo now, but don't forget who was there when you had nothing." I forwarded the voicemail to my lawyer, just in case. The final move came 3 days later. Taryn sent a direct email to Maris, a long, melodramatic message, saying she'd been unfairly betrayed, blaming Lacey for taking the plan too far, and claiming she'd only met up with Corin a couple of times. It ended with her pleading with Maris. "Please, just tell Wade to let me explain. One call. That's all I'm asking." Maris replied with 3 words, "You chose this." By that point, I had cleaned up the entire mess. Old house sold, condo paid off, her name scrubbed from every record. Lacey had gone quiet, but she wasn't done. See, Lacey was still talking, liking posts about toxic men and spreading Taryn's version to anyone who would listen. And Corin was back on dating apps, old pictures, and made-up jobs. So I sent one last email. Subject, accountability. Inside was a shared link to all the evidence. Texts, calendar screenshots, call logs, hotel receipts, everything. All of it labeled, dated, irrefutable. And on BCC, the family members of Taryn's who had blocked me after the party. Lacey's employer, she was dumb enough to tag them in her bio. The manager of Corin's gym, where he was working part-time at the front desk. No threats, no commentary, just proof. Within 48 hours, Taryn's cousin unblocked me and sent a message, didn't know it was that bad. Respect. Lacey's work profile vanished. Corin deleted all his social media and went dark. A week later, Taryn posted one last story. Sometimes redemption isn't about forgiveness. It's about surviving the smear campaigns of people too cowardly to grow. No names, no details, just that hollow influencer energy trying to turn her ruin into self-help. It got maybe 4 likes, none from her family. Lacey never posted again. Maris and I stayed in touch. At first, it was strictly professional. She helped a friend of mine find a house across town, then helped me flip a second property I got through a work contact. We'd meet at construction sites, walk through the frames, and talk numbers. Efficient, direct, no weirdness. Until one day, she stayed late to go over design plans and said, "Taryn used to say you were emotionally unavailable." Funny, I've never had a problem communicating with you. I didn't say anything, just smiled and handed her the signed forms. The last I heard of Taryn, she was living in a shared house with Lacey, both jobless, bouncing between pyramid schemes and sponsored posts that got zero traction. They tried to launch a podcast, 2 episodes, both deleted. Her name was poison within her own family. Her mother stopped defending her when the video made it to the church group chat. Corin was apparently working for his cousin's construction crew, off the books, trying to put his life back together. But nobody missed them, nobody asked about them again. And I moved on. New contract at work, bigger bonus, bought a second truck, took a short trip out west, upgraded my gym membership. Quiet wins, no announcements, no speeches. That's the difference. She thought attention was currency. I learned peace is the real profit. Taryn hit rock bottom and then tried to dig her way out using the same old playbook: clout, lies, and fake tears. But this time, nobody was buying it. After months of silence, she reappeared on social media with a new brand, new handle, new aesthetic. Her bio read, "Survivor, speaker, guiding women through betrayal." She was calling herself a relationship coach now. Her whole angle was simple: flip the narrative. She took our breakup, twisted it into a trauma narrative, and started offering $75 Zoom healing sessions for other women. She claimed she'd been emotionally manipulated, publicly shamed, and left homeless by a narcissist. Lacey was still her hype woman, praising her in every post, calling her brave, inspiring, and stronger than ever. She even posted a picture with a motivational quote and a photo of herself looking out a window. "He didn't break me. He built me into a better woman." Right. But then she crossed a line. She mentioned me. She didn't use my name, but it was obvious. She called me the man who used money to control her, said I stole her voice, and accused me of intimidating her family into silence. That post got 2,000 views, enough to start generating sympathy. So I destroyed her. First, I made a new, clean copy of all the evidence, all updated, with fresh links, and organized by category. Receipts of her infidelity, the Christmas Eve video, the legal threats from her lawyer's letter, the post-breakup smear attempts, screenshots of her coaching account where she lied about being a victim of abuse. I didn't post anything. I was surgical. She had a booking link in her bio, email only. I created a fake email with a made-up client name. "Hi, I'm interested in your coaching package. I've gone through a betrayal and feel broken. How soon can we schedule a session?" She replied instantly, "Hi, sweetie. Thank you for trusting me. You're not broken, you're evolving. Let's get your transformation call scheduled." She sent a Zoom link, $75 for 30 minutes. I paid it, not for the session, but for the record. That made it a business, and she didn't understand that offering coaching services made her legally liable for any false claims used to get money. I forwarded the screenshots to my lawyer. He drafted a formal cease and desist, with intent to escalate to fraud and defamation if she continued to use my story for profit. She ignored it. So I launched Phase 2. Her website had testimonials from supposed clients. They were fake. One of the names was from a girl who had texted me months earlier, apologizing for believing Taryn. I contacted her again. She agreed to help. She filed a consumer fraud complaint with the Texas Attorney General's office. Meanwhile, I sent reports using her public email to PayPal for the booking fees, Stripe for the payments, Wix for the web hosting, and Instagram for impersonation and attempted scams. All the proof was included in the file. 3 weeks later, her coaching account was suspended, her website was taken down, Stripe froze her funds, and PayPal locked her account for manual review. Clients got refunds. It all vanished. But I wasn't done yet. She applied for a community grant downtown to open a women's healing studio. She posted all about it. Finalist. Live stream coming soon. The grant committee was public. I sent them the entire file with the subject: applicant misconduct. Falsified brand identity based on fraud. No threats, just timestamped facts. I included her false statements, her made-up abuse allegations, and screenshots from Instagram where she bragged about destroying a man's ego in public. The committee ghosted her. A week later she posted, Unfortunately, my dream has been delayed. Some people can't stand to see you win. One comment. Didn't you fake your whole story, though? No one replied. Final move. Corin got a new job at a tech startup in a nearby city, a customer-facing role. Taryn started tagging him again. Subtle things, matching coffee cups, shared Spotify playlists. He was trying to act normal, like nothing ever happened. So I made sure it did. I found the company's pitch deck online. I sent an email to the founder, attaching the Christmas Eve video. Your new hire was terminated from a previous position for professional misconduct on company time and was involved in a well-documented ethical breach with a coworker. This video was shared publicly by multiple individuals. I thought you'd want to know before he becomes the face of your brand. Corin's LinkedIn profile disappeared 2 days later. Taryn posted a black story with the words, "Sometimes I can't breathe." That's how heavy this all feels. I didn't share any of it. I didn't gloat, didn't post. I just closed the tabs, shut down my laptop, and went back to work. Today, Taryn is back at her cousin Lacey's place, jobless, brandless, and Corinless. Lacey moved to Miami to find herself. The podcast is dead. She tried TikTok one more time, got roasted in the comments, and deleted the account. No one talks about her. She's just another name that gets a shrug when it comes up in conversation. You can only play the victim card for so long before you run out of cards. And I never had to yell, never had to post a word. All I did was show the receipts. By spring, her name was dead. Taryn had no job, no brand, no man, no home of her own. She burned every bridge she thought she could dance across. Lacey moved out of state. Corin was jobless again. Nobody wanted to be associated with her. Even her family went silent. She tried to come back to TikTok with a new alias, Ray West, healing coach for betrayed women. Same scripts, same lies, but people weren't listening anymore. As soon as someone checked her old account and found the Christmas Eve video again, she vanished. On my end, everything was completely in order. I closed another real estate deal, bought a piece of land through a work contact, and flipped it in 5 months. No posts, no pictures, just signed contracts, closed deals, and numbers going up. But Taryn didn't cross my mind again until she did. It was a Saturday afternoon. I was walking through the parking lot of a small strip mall in Arlington, nothing special. I was just picking up my dry cleaning and a box of truck parts I'd ordered ahead. I hadn't even parked, just pulled up to the curb and left the engine running. Then I heard it. Wait. I turned. It was her. Taryn looked wrecked. Hair thrown up messily, no makeup, wearing an oversized sweatshirt and worn-out leggings. She was holding an iced coffee in a cracked plastic cup and wearing those fake slides girls buy when they're broke but want to look casual. Her eyes lit up like she'd found a winning lottery ticket. "Oh my God. I can't believe it's you." I didn't say a word. She took a step toward me, a smile already forming, preparing for a monologue. "It's been so crazy. I mean, everything that happened, I was in a really bad place. You know how Lacey was always pushing me, right? And the Corin thing wasn't even real. I've been in therapy, and honestly, I've been wanting to talk to you for a while." She kept going. "I've changed. I'm different now. I know I messed up. I see that. You were the only one who really ever cared about me. You helped me. You supported me. You built me up, and I tore it all down. I get that now." She paused, like she was expecting me to hug her, or cry, or offer some emotional life raft. She moved a little closer. "Could we maybe talk? Just get coffee, one time, just to see if there's anything still." I didn't interrupt her. I let her finish. Then I looked her dead in the eye and said one thing. "Absolutely not." Her face fell. I didn't wait. I didn't let her respond. I just turned, walked to my truck, got in, started the engine, and drove away. I didn't look back. I didn't care if she stood there crying, or screaming, or pleading. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.